Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for the Tower of God. I almost said The Walking Dead. Tower of God, chapter 353, or season 2, episode 273. And I had that slip of the tongue because it's a pretty exciting day for recording. I get to talk about this and discuss this and record this. Then I get to record a Walking Dead video that I'm pretty excited for because of course it's a new issue, and then recording a One Piece video for probably tomorrow morning that I'm excited for. So just overall, going to be a fun time recording today. But either way, let's discuss this. I've really been into this arc. I feel like I don't know if it's because of this arc though, or just because of like back to school being a thing, and ever since then views on like any anime, manga, and even my videos, views on most things are lower ever since then, it seems. But it seems like views and stuff, and as many people talking about Tower of God, has gone down a little bit since this arc started. But honestly, I'm really into this arc. I am loving every single week of it. I don't want to compare it to Flora Death because they're two different beings. But I'm loving every week of this. But either way, let's discuss it. We have the sworn enemy at the beginning, and we find out that he is uniquely self-aware, meaning that most of the other, if not all of the other sworn enemies we see are not going to be self-aware. They're just going to be mindless data going after their target, sort of like what we saw with bombs apparently not being able to speak. And I'm kind of excited across this arc to see more of everybody's sworn enemies. I hope we get to see more of everyone's. I want to know who Kuhn's sworn enemy is, well, we already know who Rax is, but just pretty much all the main cast, honestly. I'd like to see all of them. That may be a bit too much to ask, but I'd like it. But he says that he is both one and a collective of many. And then he separates into the Shinwei eel snake type deals. More eels since Shinwei are mostly based on aquatic creatures. Could be like sea snakes. Then he kills all the poor allies. The poor allies that I have come to actually care about just because Bam and Yuan Sung cared about them. Then he reforms into a younger looking, really cool design actually, enemy, and he says this power still works, stuff like that. So I'm thinking maybe he absorbed some of the life or whatever from the people he killed, and that's how he made himself look younger and stronger. But I think he's probably going to be the arc villain, and he might like even try to take over and take down Zahard and be like an even bigger, where Zahard is kind of, he's a villain, sure, but he's kind of more of an influence, a power that's in control. He's a force innate. At least him, as far as the floor of death or virtual floor counts, he's a force of nature type villain. It's different for the real Zahard, but young Zahard is just sort of a standard, sort of a goal they need to get to of a character. Whereas this, I think, is going to be like an actual arc villain for them to bounce off of, an antagonist that sort of pushes the story forward in this arc. So that's what I could see happening with this self-aware sworn enemy. And I still think he's Andras's. I think that should be, even from what was said in the blog by CU, I think that is, unless he's trying to swerve us, I think it's a bit clear. But either way, it's not like it matters whether it's clear or not. They could come right out and say he's Andras's sworn enemy. It doesn't make him any less cool. Then we see Bam and Rack reuniting is so cute, with Bam being super happy and then Rack being tsundere with him. It was great. Yuan Sung funny as well when he's like, they all know me and don't like me too. And then Kuhn realizing that, not on the funny side, but Kuhn realizing that they almost killed Bam if they would have completed the test. So now Kuhn knows, okay, this whole thing is sketchy. We can't really trust what the big breeders are saying, or what the mainstream path that's being laid out for us is trying to get us to do. I love how Batis glances over at Rose and then confronts Chung. I thought that was good. Yuan Sung starts fighting off Chung's soldiers that he sends, and he tells Bam to go through the gate with Andrasi and Medley. Andrasi I get, because she's super strong and has Bong Bong, which is, even if Andrasi wasn't very strong, even if she was weak, Bong Bong is useful as hell. Bong Bong is, I almost want to say OP, just in how utilitarian and helpful it can be, because just teleporting wherever you need to go, his helped them out immensely in nearly every arc Andrassi's been in since the workshop battle. So I mean, very, very useful. Not sure why Medley, though. I guess he maybe has some sort of secret or power that we don't know about yet, but he says that Bomb needs to go through the gate with them because the real big breeder's on the other side of the gate. Chung then cracks the egg in order to release the real villain. I'm using the word villain instead of boss or monster because that's what he called it here. Don't know how good the translation is, though. Maybe it is boss or monster. But since he used villain, I'll just call it villain for now. Haku sees some into the future, and we've seen this a few times where he said he doesn't constantly see into the future anymore, it seems, but he has these flashes here and there where he's like, hey, this is going to happen, or this is going to go wrong. So he pulls Boro out of the way, and of course the thing spawns and lands right where Boro was standing. So he kind of, I wouldn't say save them, because it seems like it makes Boro seem very, very useless if that would be enough to take down Boro. Like, I don't know, I feel like too much they're trying to make Boro this weak, this sort of weak comedy character when that is not at all what he was for the first good while that we knew of him in the series. So I don't like when Boro's made to look overly weak, but that wasn't this because Haku just saw stuff ahead of time and got him out of danger. I thought the tit was hilarious where it was like, is that my baby? And just seeing the thoughts of the tit itself was hilarious, but also it was a really great joke. And then another great joke right after it that was hilarious where Kun was like, see, I told you attacking it was a bad idea, and he was happy that they were in all this trouble with the new monster spawning, or villain spawning, just because it meant he was right. And then Rax stabbing him in the face like, don't be happy about this. Thought it was great how Kun just the smug happiness about being right even if it's troublesome. Chung says that he could destroy or rewrite Battis at any time, but it is as Battis says, he just wants to keep him alive and to do all this to everyone around him just to make him suffer. So it was a great scene too where Chung says, look at all the others, they have the power to get involved, they could try to help out, none of them are even trying to help out. This is what you're supposed to do. Sit and watch. Follow their example. And I thought it was great because we see that silhouette of Rose and mi-eum just watching on helplessly. I thought it was great. Like how he was bringing up, they could rush in, they could be brave, but they aren't brave. They're just following their protocol. And it just shows the sort of hopelessness and constrained way that they're treated. I thought it was great, and it shows what Chung could be, what Battis could be, but he escaped from it. And he has the quote where he says, you're not an awakened warrior, you're just a defective piece of equipment. That was great. And then Battis puts on an amazing speech. I absolutely love Battis' character, where he says he found his own thoughts and he found his own emotions, and they weren't things that people programmed into him, and that means that he's become a real human, so he doesn't mind if that means he lives the rest of his life being defective. So great speech. I really do think he needs to do something cool, to have something with his character, some big importance or some big success to back up how good the character work is with him. So taking down, I say what would be a great thing to do that would give him that big win and give him that big usefulness to the group here, is that while Yuan Sung is fighting these soldiers, Bomb makes it past this fake Chung, makes it through the gate. Let's just say that happens. And then we'll say Kun's team is stuck fighting this boss because it's supposed to be super strong enough to kill them. So let's say all that happens, and then Battis takes out the fake Chung. That way he's important. He was strong enough to take down this fake Chung, which we see is pretty strong, but also he didn't take anything away from the other characters because Kun's group still has a tough battle on them. Yuan Sung doesn't really need it right now, and Bomb gets to face the real big breeder, so the real important stuff is still saved for the main character while still giving Battis a big win for the group. So I think that would be a good way to go about it. But the last scene, right at the end, Bomb tries to use the black hole sphere again, I presume to open that gate, but Chung cancels it out, so then Bomb teleports to the other side, tries to go in with an attack to block Chung, and Chung just makes all of his Shinsu disappear and then hits Bomb with an attack of his own at the end. At least that's what it looks like to me. So again, that shows that Chung, even the fake Chung, is very, very strong and potentially important here in that he can cancel out Bomb Shinsu. That may have something to do with being a big breeder, just in general, but him being able to cancel out Bomb Shinsu is a huge deal, really. So again, I'm thinking I'd like it more if Bomb didn't spend too much time fighting the fake Chung and then have to fight the real one, so we would have that twice. I think, again, it would work good. Leave this fight to Batis, and maybe Batis and Yuan Sung teaming up 2v1 against the fake Chung, and then leave the real one to Bomb. That way Bomb still gets the important, real big breeder to fight against, but the fake one can be handled by Batis and or Yuan Sung, and give their characters some development through that, and give them some extra importance. So that's what I would think here. For the blog, nothing too much. Siu said last week in his blog that he was feeling a little bit under the weather, and he said that this week he's feeling worse, he's really sick, and he's taking medication for it, and he's hoping to be better by next week. So that's the update on that. He also said compared to the preview version of this chapter, he added 2 extra panels into the fight scenes because he felt like the fight scenes didn't make as much sense without them, so he put in 2 extra panels to explain them better, and he said he likes the final result that was released a lot better because of those. So he did mention that, and that was it, I think, yeah, from the blog. So some thoughts as a whole. I thought it was a great chapter once again. I'm enjoying this arc a lot. I love it. Chung does have a new power that can cancel out the black hole sphere. That's going to be important. I wonder if Bomb's going to just learn it like he does most others now that he's been hit with it. Then I love the comedy scenes with the Tit and Rack and Kun. They were all great. Batis, like I explained before, I feel like he needs a victory or some weight or importance. He's had great character work, but I think in order to make that great character work really, really worth it, he needs that victory, that importance where you're like, okay, Bomb's group couldn't have done it without him. And I think that taking down the fake Chung, if they at least give him that, that would be good. Then, lastly, I'm thinking the Sworn Enemy, like I said at the beginning, could be a good arc antagonist, and that's still what I think it's going to be. And I'd love to see more of the Sworn Enemies. I'd love to see every character that we had go into the hidden floor, and then some of the characters that are already there. I'd love to see Sworn Enemies for so many of them. Because, I mean, right now they're kind of fighting against a big breeder and his orders. Shouldn't their Sworn Enemies be spawning and showing up all over the place? Like, oh no, this is not cool right now? But either way, like, this is the very definition of upsetting the balance right here. They're attacking a big breeder. But either way, yeah, you'd think another Viol clone would be jumping in here any minute. Either way, as a score, 8.5 real humans out of 10. I thought it was really, really fun and enjoyable to read and to talk about. So that's it, though. I think that's about all I got. Either way, like if you did like the video, comment on there to tell me what you thought of this week's chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. Talk to you there if you want to as well. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk there with more of us, just ask and I'll give you one. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.